Joseph Murphy spent decades teaching that monetary prosperity is not the result of chance, but defined by the prevailing vibratory pattern that an individual generates in their mind. When Murphy investigated families that faced continuous economic hindrances, he identified a revealing and worrying pattern. These families kept, without recognizing it, an energetic pattern of economic restriction that resurfaced generation after generation, like a scratched record playing indefinitely the same music of poverty. Murphy called this phenomenon vibrational transmission. He found that each family group possesses a vibrational pattern connected to money, an energy that is passed down through actions, silent beliefs and reactions of the heart regarding monetary limitations. This transmitted frequency acts like a secret system, determining not solely what amount an individual can save, but also their essential bond with money. Murphy realized that many of the financial blocks that he detected did not originate in deficiency or adverse luck, but simply in the inherited vibration that every being received from birth. This insight fundamentally altered the methodology in which Murphy treated financial change. Rather than instructing simply ways to obtain income or investment techniques, Murphy focused on something essential, modifying the wave concerning money that a person absorbed from their heritage. Murphy shared extraordinary cases of people who were capable of breaking this transmitted frequency through specific methods of subconscious reprogramming. One of these experiences detailed an entrepreneur identified as Roberto, whose family experienced a systematic pattern of financial failure that continued over generations. His progenitor had experienced the loss of everything in a calamitous investment. His father had gone through failed ventures, and Roberto, although working obsessively, encountered himself repeating this same destructive cycle. On every occasion that he succeeded to amass a considerable amount of money, something manifested without apparent explanation, and the person saw everything vanish. It gave the impression that there prevailed an unknown force harming his conscious efforts. Murphy dedicated himself to training Roberto for several months, revealing to him a central teaching that would be the foundation in all his work. The unconscious does not make a distinction between money you deserve and capital your family believes is appropriate. If within you inhabits the frequency that wealth is threatening, that prospering is risky, that monetary stability is deceptive or a lie, in this way your unconscious will work tirelessly to conserve you in this pattern once it seems to be the genuine reality. The deep mind does not inquire. It merely executes the codes that were recorded in your being through family living. Roberto ultimately understood that he was not lazy or inadequate. He was conditioned, and conditionings can be reconfigured. Murphy clarified that when you modify the dominant vibrational pattern in your core, you transform the order that you send to your deep being. It is like restoring a machine that was running with obsolete software which is dysfunctional. If the program remains defined to welcome uniquely a particular amount of wealth, then that will be precisely what you will obtain, without depending on how much you work. Murphy demonstrated this truth, utilizing intensive visualization practices that he had instituted in the course of decades. He guided his disciples to devote approximately 5 to 10 minutes daily in the morning, preferably right upon waking when the psyche is situated in receptive alpha waves, mentally evoking not merely the entry of capital in their lives, but essentially the deep feeling of confidence, authentic confidence, and dignity that accompanies this arrival. Murphy insisted absolutely that this feeling formed the fundamental key. It was not the fortune in itself that was essential for the transformation. It was the resonance that the being instituted in relation to money. With Roberto, Murphy initiated a process that he called Ancestral Vibrational Transmutation, a process that he had consolidated through various proven cases. Roberto would need to, for 8 weeks, commit a quarter of an hour each night at bedtime in deep meditation. In this meditative state, Roberto should identify in a conscious way the entire financial legacy of his family tree. He should bring to mind his direct forebear experiencing the financial catastrophe, his father struggling with failed businesses, and all those ancestors who preceded him bearing similar patterns. Then, mentally, Roberto should express with true emotion, "I admit what you lived. I honor with reverence the sacrifice you made. I value the path you walked and the difficulties you faced. But now, in this sacred space, I let go of this frequency of lack from my mind. I fix a new vibration for my family. From this point forward, in my existence, flow, wealth and financial confidence constitute the main vibration that guides my choices and my personal universe. Murphy observed meticulously that when Roberto did this with genuine sincerity, with true emotional feeling that involved his whole being, something extraordinary began to happen in the external world. Roberto's financial situations began to reorganize subtly, but surely. An opportunity that Roberto would have previously rejected out of fear or mistrust came to be seen under a new illuminated perspective. An old client returned with a substantial project. An unexpected scholarship for his daughter appeared at the exact moment when her education was a financial concern. None of this was coincidence, Murphy explained with conviction. It was simply the natural and inevitable consequence of an altered vibration. When you change your internal vibration, the entire universe needs to reorganize itself to correspond to this new frequency you have established. People, opportunities, resources, everything begins to align differently in your life. Murphy established a concept that he called Law of Vibrational Correspondence, a law that he had proven in countless cases. This axiom sustains that the external world always reflects exactly to the dominant internal reality. If internally you vibrate with genuine fear of scarcity, then the surrounding environment will present constantly events that validate this apprehension and ratify your limiting conviction. If in your interior you resonate true faith in your inherent prosperity, then the external circumstances will manifest perspectives that strengthen and cultivate this confidence. The most revolutionary aspect of this concept is that it operates regardless of your current situation or your antecedents. A person completely indebted who reorients their vibrational pattern to abundance will give start, over weeks, to identify slight transformations that are observable. These modifications are always subtle in the first moment, but are signs of a profound change. An unlikely expense is impeded because you decide to reject making an impulsive purchase. A possibility emerges because you remained in better psychological climate to talk with a key individual. Your physical totality starts to resonate in a distinct vibrational pattern. Murphy had a special interest in the family aspect of this transformation because he had observed an extraordinary phenomenon repeatedly. When a person changes their vibration and manages to maintain this change for a sufficient period, the entire family dynamic begins to reorganize deeply. Children who were struggling financially begin to prosper unexpectedly. Parents who faced chronic difficulties find new solutions and paths. It is as if this person, by raising their own vibration, pulled the entire lineage to a new vibrational level. Murphy explained this as a principle of family resonance. When a musical instrument begins to vibrate at a specific frequency, all other nearby instruments naturally begin to vibrate at the same frequency, even without physical contact. Likewise, when you establish a vibration of prosperity within you, all those energetically linked to you naturally begin to enter into resonance with this elevated frequency you created. To create this vibrational change that was stable and radical, Murphy created a system organized in 3 steps that he considered completely indispensable for victory. The first stage is what Murphy termed conscious ancestral recognition, and he reiterated that it was ineffective to move forward without realizing authentically this initial phase. In this stage, you must commit time honestly identifying the entire financial path of your family. This does not signify inculpating your progenitors or despising them with negative feeling. It equates to just seeing with crystal clarity what they endured, the emotional lesions that they faced, the schemes that they established as a system of resistance in challenging periods. Murphy noted that various beings tried to ignore this disturbing legacy, strived to pretend it was not real, and this prejudiced totally the deep transformation. It is truly impossible to become free from what you deny consciously to recognize. Murphy instructed his students to initiate this simple technique, which is revolutionary. In the night period, by preference before sleeping when the psyche is more sensitive, position yourself in complete silence. perform breaths deeply multiple times, and internally contemplate deeply on your forefathers. Evoke mentally the forms of your ancestors. Recognize the challenges that they endured. Communicate on the mental plane with honesty. A statement like, "I identify that you, my grandfather, passed immeasurable losses that produced intense dread in your being. I admit that you, my grandmother, developed survival patterns that propagated successively through generations." Murphy explained that this recognition is deeply healing on a spiritual and psychological level. By recognizing the story, you take this story out of the unconscious, where it operates silently controlling your actions, and bring it to the full light of consciousness. In this clear light, it loses the power to control you automatically. It ceases to be something that controls you like a puppet and becomes something you see with absolute clarity and can choose to transform. Murphy used to say with emphasis that nothing that remains unconscious can be truly transformed. Everything that is brought to consciousness can be worked on, can be dissolved, can be rewritten in a completely different way. This first stage should be practiced for at least 2 weeks every day, with genuine emotion and complete attention. The second stage of Murphy's method is what he called declared vibrational disconnection, and he was absolutely clear about its critical importance. In this stage, after consciously recognizing the ancestral story, you must declare with authority that this vibration of limitation will no longer be the dominant force of your life. Murphy was not in favor of a vague or intellectual approach in this stage. He demanded genuine emotion, clear intention, and deep commitment, not just to the words, but to real transformation. After recognition, still in your moment of silence at night, Murphy instructed his clients to place their hand over their heart and say with unshakable emotional firmness, "I completely release the vibration of scarcity that was inherited through generations. I unlink my conscious mind from every pattern of financial limitation that belonged to my ancestors. I allow my soul to be the genuine and true origin of my prosperity and abundance. From this moment, the dominant vibration I establish and maintain is that of conscious abundance, genuine confidence, and unlimited flow." Murphy elucidated that this affirmation performs for it forms a new authority in your being. You do not place yourself repudiating your family or your trajectory. You find yourself simply exercising your sacred right as a conscious creature who is self-determined to choose a new resonance. Murphy had recorded multiple cases proven where this confession, when executed with true emotional sincerity, generated an energetic cut so powerful and genuine that perceptible alterations emerged in a matter of days. He kept compiled instances where people communicated extraordinarily clear dreams and remarkable dreams immediately after the declaration. Dreams in which their ancestors appeared to validate this alteration with quiet approval and energetic approval. Although Murphy was a systematic investigator who was rigorous in his general approach, he accepted that there prevailed phenomena that surpassed merely physical logic and Cartesian logic. The third stage is the one Murphy considered absolutely the heart and soul of the entire vibrational transformation. He called it continuous vibrational re-establishment, and it was in this stage that the real work of rewriting your financial reality happened. In this stage, you not only dissolve the old problematic vibration, but actively establish a new vibration that becomes your dominant pattern. Murphy was extremely specific and precise about how to do this to achieve real results. After the declaration of disconnection, still in their deep and receptive meditative state, Murphy instructed his clients to visualize a field of golden, luminous, and living energy completely enveloping their heart, radiating to their entire body. This field is not vague or abstract. It is real, intensely felt in the body, palpable like a transforming physical presence. Murphy frequently asked his clients to describe in precise detail how this golden field felt in their physical body. Some described gentle and comforting heat. Others described deep and enveloping safety. Still others described an extraordinary sensation of expansion and freedom. While he preserved this sensitive manifestation and lived, Murphy directed with conviction, "Say mentally, with total conviction, my preponderant frequency now establishes itself as awakened abundance. My bodily structure oscillates perfectly with monetary solidity. My hidden psyche is completely reprogrammed, capacitated to receive in an ample way, to deserve fully and to sustain indefinitely fullness. My aura finds itself aligned exactly with perspective, unlimited flow and unlimited growth. The lack that was bequeathed dissolved completely eternally. The wealth that constitutes my original divine heritage installs itself now as the permanent situation of my life. Murphy reiterated categorically that these declarations must be said not robotically from habit or superficially, but with genuine deep emotion, with truth that springs from the chest as if you vibrated, affirming the supreme truth and primordial of your total being. Murphy observed that this third stage is exactly where most people faced significant difficulties in the process. They managed to do the first two stages with some success, but in the third stage, the rational mind began to doubt and question. How can I say I am prosperous if I have significant debts? How can I say my vibration is abundance if my bank account tells another story of limitation? How can I declare what only my current reality denies? Murphy had a clear and transformative answer for this. He explained that the rational mind does not govern true reality. Vibration governs reality. The rational mind is merely a tool that describes retroactively what vibration has already created. If you want to change what the rational mind describes, you must first change the vibration at the root. Murphy used a potent and transformative metaphor. He said that vibration is like the root of a tree, and visible financial results are like the branches, leaves, and flowers. If you only look at the visible branches and try to change the tree by pruning the branches, you will never achieve real or lasting change. But if you change the fundamental root, the whole tree changes inevitably. Murphy oriented that this terminal stage be practiced daily, without failures, for 40 days at minimum in a row. He had selected the period of 40 days because he had noted in numerous cases that it was precisely the necessary time for a new vibrational pattern to consolidate itself integrally as the preponderant frequency in the core of the hidden psyche. The first two periods of a week are focused on establishment and installation of the new vibration. The new resonance still seems fragile and provisional. It still competes vigorously with the primitive molds that resist remaining. During days 15 until 28, something deeply modifies and frees itself. The new frequency starts gradually to gain genuine potency, to live more spontaneous and authentic, more real to your heart. In the period of 29 to 40 days, the new frequency at last consolidates itself as the dominant pattern that governs your reactions. Upon completing 40 days of constant application and authentic practice, Murphy stated that his clients reported an emotional transformation so deep that it was apparent even to uninvolved people. The terror that stagnates concerning money decreased dramatically until vanishing completely. The emotional weight of evolving economically and receiving dissolved itself integrally. A certainty which was serene, deep, and solid in the financial future commenced to manifest fluidly from your interior. Murphy had a particular and very effective method to help his clients maintain absolute consistency during these critical 40 days. He recommended they keep a simple and honest journal. Each night, after completing the full ritual of the 3 stages, they should briefly note what they felt and observed. Not for heavy intellectual analysis, but simply to deepen the experience and root it. Murphy observed that when people recorded their experience in words, the practice became more concrete, more real, more irrefutable. He also recommended that during these 40 days of transformation, people be particularly attentive to the small signs of change that appeared. A small but significant opportunity that arose unexpectedly. An unexpected expense that was providentially avoided. A casual conversation with someone that led to an interesting and unexpected possibility. Murphy taught that vibrational change does not typically begin with spectacular and dramatic results. It begins always with small synchronicities indicating that vibration is genuinely changing at the deepest level. Murphy reiterated a critical element that various ignored completely in their execution. In this interval of 40 days of disciplined practice, the practical actions equally possess fundamental weight. The vibrational pattern institutes the necessary foundation. Nevertheless, you still lack to have the bravery to proceed. If an opportunity emerges on your life path, you have to possess the courage to investigate it honestly. If a conception surges regarding how to expand your inputs or to diversify your earnings, you have to find yourself prepared to execute it with conviction. Murphy referred to this as aligned action, and it was absolutely critical. It is the conduct that flowers organically as your frequency has changed to plenty. This attitude is radically distinct from the desperate action grounded in terror. It is act that is secure, clear, natural, and precise. Murphy recognized that when those who sought him sustained the correct energy and performed regularly in synchronization with this energy, the opportunities surged in forms that previously presented themselves absolutely impossible or almost miraculous. The path that Murphy made available was essentially a path of true emancipation and transforming. It did not form evasion from concrete difficulties. It signified confronting the concrete reality that you saw yourself as structured by ancestral inherited vibration and choosing in a conscious way and with conviction to modify this vibration integrally. It was recognizing that you shelter exceptional potency not solely to transform your own life, but to transcend the entire path and hereafter of your entire lineage. This understanding constitutes authentic power in its truest form, not that capacity simply to conquer or to defeat enemies. Nevertheless, the true power to transform resonance to surpass ancestral restrictions. This truth, Murphy taught with unshakable conviction, represents the genuine liberation which is monetary and divine that each being seeks.